You're pretty, Mama.
Pretty doesn't matter. It's just a tool women use.
What?
Anything we want.
My favorite thing is a challenging character where you know they're not making the right decision, but you root for them anyway.
The Kitchen is an adaptation of a DC Comics miniseries from their DC Vertigo line, which was aimed at more adult stories. So this movie's R rating makes sense.
Our husbands have 24 months left on their sentences.
Sorry, baby.
Both the movie and the comic are about 3 women living in the Hell's Kitchen neighborhood of New York City in the late 70s. After their husbands are imprisoned, the women take the Irish Mafia's matters into their own hands and turn out to be surprisingly good at it.
They have been telling us forever that we are never going to do anything but have babies. A bunch of men that have forgotten what family means.
So we remind them.
Terry Hart caught up with the stars to talk about playing gritty anti-heroes.
Did these characters surprise you when you read them?
It didn't surprise me. It, inspired me, is what it did for me. I was like, I gotta get in this movie. I'm gonna figure out how to make it happen.
There's nothing cookie cutter about any of these 3 women, and they're all so, diametrically different from each other. We don't see that variation of women in one movie very often, do we?
I mean, I think it's hard to do. It's hard to do any sort of ensemble film well where all the characters are interesting and all are interesting to watch equally. What I liked about this script is it didn't feel like, oh, here's 3 completely different women that would never know each other, that would never speak to each other, it would have nothing to do with each other. It felt like they were, yes, very different women, but from the same world.
I told you we can't go around working for a bunch of women.
And they had that to unite them, and so I felt like they had a reality to it.
Just to be clear, now we run this neighborhood.
Did it make sense that specifically Melissa McCarthy and Tiffany Haddish were starring in this?
I think, the fact that they had done a lot of comedic work before, I don't think should influence whether you do more or less of it, you know? You needed people who were right for the parts, and they were absolutely fantastic, as was Elizabeth.
If we go to Brooklyn, we're dead.
What do you wear to something like that? You get dressed up?
Are you kidding? Yeah.